Hi everybody, it's me, Carrie, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Farmington Hills. This is a pre-recorded video. Today, we are going to do some paper pumpkin alternatives. Don't you get excited when this box comes in the mail? I know I do. Because we have hints of what it is, but we never really know, right? So let me show you what came this month. Of course, you have the wonderful instructions that give you all the information on how to put the cards together. And if you did not know, it also will tell you down here the coordinating colors. So when you want to do your alternatives, that's very helpful. They even show you a couple of alternatives over here, which is fun too. I think they're really pretty. Okay, so we are going to talk, I'm going to show you the envelopes just so that I can quickly use them for background for the stamps. But look at how pretty, even the front is so pretty. And then the insides, and the coloring goes all the way through, which we like because, you know, yes, I am going to cut them apart. So it comes with actually kind of two stamp sets. I think they kind of go together, but this one has the flower, the lily pad, you're a rise above the rest, your friendship is unforgettable, you are capable of amazing things, and then it has the two lilies and a stem. Okay, so you can see I've got all the stamps off because I'm going to be using them, but don't forget these envelopes because I have cut a couple. Then you get 4 of these cards, 4 of these basic cards, and look how it's got the directions. This is a lotus blossom, here's what it means kind of thing, which is awesome. So there's that one, and then there's this one that actually folds like that. How cool is that, right? And it has on the back forget-me-nots, and it talks about forget-me-nots. It comes with labels. Okay, you get 5 labels. You get 4 of the forget-me-nots in a bunch, and 5 of the little lily pads with the lilies, the water lilies. So it comes with quite a bit. It also comes with some clear bling, Stampin' Dimensionals, and a pretty peacock Stampin' Spot. So if you're collecting, this is a good one. So, okay, so let's make some cards. Okay, so I am not going to make the Stampin' Up! Cards for you because they're kind of in the Stampin' Up! Videos. But I did want to show them to you. Here's one. And look how fun. This just slides in. And you just stamp right on that little die cut piece and slide it in there. And then you can't see the sentiment until you lift this up. So I think that's really cool. The inside, of course, is white. And it does have the back with the lotus flower information. Then there's this one that is very cute also. And again, has the forget-me-not information on the back. So these are the 2 cards that are suggested with the kit. And they're very pretty. I like them a whole lot. Of course, you know, I can't leave well enough alone. So here we go with our first one. And this is going to be a very simple change to the original card. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this piece. But I'm going to put it on a piece of thick basic white. And you know, you want to score your basic white before you fold. It keeps it from putting in those little cracks. So this is very simple. Like I said, it's going to be a very simple replacement. Now you can use your tear and tape, which does come, I forgot to tell you that. Let me grab that. I forgot to tell you, it does come with tear and tape and some twine also. So that's part of the kit. So I apologize for not mentioning that. I'm going to use my liquid glue. Oh, that was a nice glob I put on there, right? So, okay. And this is already at 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to center that. I just think it brightens it up so much. I mean, let me show you the difference. Doesn't it just look so much brighter on the basic white? I love it. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to stamp. This is a circle cut with our Stylish Shapes dies, just in basic white. And what I'm going to do is, I've got some Melon Mambo ink, and I am going to, this is the smaller of the two flowers. You've got two flowers that come with the stamp set. I'm using the smaller one for this, and I'm making a nice mess. And I'm going to just stamp that right there. Then I pre-stamped, and if you want, here's a tip. I didn't plan on it, but let's grab this. We're going to be doing this later with a different card too. If you take a blender pen, you can pull that color. See how I'm getting a softer color in there, almost a bubble bath pink. And bubble bath is one of the colors. But see how it's blending out and giving that flower more color, more than just the black and white. So, and then remember to clean off your blends pens. Now, I pre-stamped this. I know you can probably barely see it because I did a pink on a pink, but I did it on a Post-it note, and then I'm going to set it on there, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the lily pad stamp, and I'm going to stamp it with Pretty Peacock, which is the ink spot that comes in your kit this month. And I want the flower on top of the lily pad. So this way with the mat, when I remove the mat, see, now I've got the flower on top of the lily pad. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab my blending brush, and I need a scrap. I'm sorry. 1 second. I forgot to grab a scrap so I can make sure my brush was clean. Okay, now I want to color in this a little bit. Now I can see that I didn't see that line? That's bugging me, but I'll survive. Perfection is overrated, as you guys know. I feel that way. And then if you want to, you can try to pull it out even farther. If that's not enough for you, you know about squeezing the pad or dropping in some ink. This is a newer pad. Let me see if I can get any ink on there. There we go. You don't really want to grab the corner of the ink pad itself, because that then puts blender juice. I don't know what else to call it. Call it blender juice. And then I'm going to just add some color off here to give it sort of a wavy, watery look. Okay, so there we go. And you don't have to do that. I just thought at the last minute, why not? And then super easy peasy, like I said, I'm just going to put that up on some Stampin' Dimensionals, which you do get in your kit. So that's nice. And again, I said I've got a couple that are just super easy alternatives. You don't have to overthink it. That's what I love about Paper Pumpkin. I mean, sometimes, you guys know, I get a little crazy, and I do super exotic nutso stuff. Okay, not really exotic. I'm not that cool. But now I have that right there. There's no sentiment. It's okay. I don't want one. I can put it on the inside. You could have stamped a sentiment here if I wanted to. I could have put one right down there or up here. But this is just a super simple card. Okay, so we're going to do something very similar to that. Only this time, I am going to use the card base, but I liked so much having that white that I want white on this one. So I'm going to trim this one down. Right now it's at 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to trim it down to 3 3/4 by 5. So hold on. Okay, so I have cut this down, and then I have a piece of basic white for me to put on it right there. And I'm going to glue these to the card front like so. Excuse me. So first I'm taking that base piece that came with the kit that I have cut down. I'm matting it on a piece of basic white. So again, I cut this piece down to 3 3/4 by 5. This basic white piece is 4 by 5 1/4. This is why I love liquid glue, so I can center it a little bit better. It still looks off-center to me, you guys. Jeez. It's just one of those days. Even when I'm not live. I mean, you know, it's me. Okay. There we go. And we have that piece. Now, what am I going to do with this piece? I'm going to do it on the inside. So we'll hold on to that. I've already pre-stamped in the same Melon Mambo that I used on the other card, the sentiment. Now what I'm going to do is, I have to figure out what I did with it. Okay, here it is. Okay, so now we're going to do just a little bit more of the stamping. Again, I am going to need my mat. So on the inside of this card, I want to put this piece, okay? And at this point, because this is basic white on the inside, I can use it dark if I wanted to, just like that, which I think is kind of fun because we don't see that on the other card, right? Then I'm going to take the Melon Mambo again, and I am grabbing the large piece right here. And while I've got that in place, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Move that. Stamp. I'm going to grab my blends again, and this time I think because that was so dark, I think I'm going to grab some of this to help add the color so that it can be a little bit darker than the last one. Just in places, not necessarily everywhere. Just like back here where you know that you've got shadow. And you can use more or less. And I'm just kind of, now I'm going to just use the blender pen. And pull that. And then that just gave it just a little bit more shade. Okay. Now I'm going to glue this down, and you can decide, like on that one card it had the pocket, you can leave it with a pocket because then you could put in a gift card or some money for somebody's gift. And grab my, woo, my chair. Have you ever had your office chair just sink down? Mine just did that. It just sunk right down. I think it's because it bumped into something. So now I'm like sitting practically with my, well, not my chin, but I'm pretty close to the table right now. It's kind of funny. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it a pocket because I don't know. I might want to give some money, or I might not. But, you know, if I don't, I don't. It's no big deal. You can tuck a little note in there, you know. And it's totally up to you what you want to do with that. And I need to pick this out. And I don't have my take your pick handy, so we're gonna pull this, whoops, and that, and that, and I forgot to put the sentiment. I see the sentiment sitting there. I see it, you guys. So now I have this that I'm just gonna center, and so see, now I do have the pocket, still plenty of room. Then I have this, and I have the sentiment, right? So what I want to do is I want to make this lily pad. Now this is an experiment, you guys. I'm not promising that it's going to look right. No promises here. So I brought my my blends, my stamping blends brush, and this is in the same color. This is I always forget, Lost Lagoon. This is the light one. And that's kind of sort of the color here. So I just wanted to give it a little bit more definition. So I'm actually just going to I'm not going to do anything with the flower itself. But I kind of want a little more definition around the edge of the lily pads. So can you see that I'm just literally flicking along? And we'll do the same thing on this one, just to give it, because I felt like it blended in a little bit too much. Now, if you wanted to, you could go in, you could get a little fancier. I'm not an artist, so I'm going to leave it at just that little bit. You could also do that with the Stampin' Write markers. You don't have to use the blends. If you don't have the blends, the Stampin' Write markers will work just fine. Then I'm going to grab my dimensionals again, and I am going to pop up the sentiment. And I decided I want the sentiment at the top, so I am just going to pop that up. And of course, because it says you rise above the rest, I have to have the other lily pad rise. Why am I having so much trouble centering this? I should probably stand up. That's a little better. Still looks crooked to me, you guys. Ay, ay, ay. Hang on. Don't give up on me yet. There you go. So now I'm just going to rise this up also, because it would be silly not to. There you go. And of course, you're going to want to add some gems and things to that as well. I'm not going to do that in the video, but I will show them at the end. I'll pause. I'll add some gems. All right, so let's now do something a little bit different. Okay, so before I go into the next cards, I want to show you that I did cut the envelopes. So I'm going to be using the insides of the envelopes on the next couple of cards, and I am going to trim them down, which I will do while this is paused, so you guys don't have to watch me cut, but I will give you the directions, okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have cut a few things apart. First, I cut this card. Remember that? I cut that out. I'm going to use these two pieces. And then I cut out the envelopes, okay? So here is, let me move that. Here is one envelope, and you can see how I cut it. And I'm going to be using these. So I wanted you to see, I think that's a piece of it. Yeah, so I trimmed it all down. Now how I got this piece is, and this is, of course, you can use that too, but I wanted to not tear it off, which you can do if you have some undo, you can do that. I just slid my scissors underneath because it is not sealed directly to the edge. So now I have these two pieces that I'm going to use on the inside of my card. And then I've got this later if I wanted to for scraps. So I have all of those and this. And that's going to be a couple of different cards. And then I have this piece, which was cut from this envelope here. And I'll be using this piece. So, I mean, you can still, I can take this and I can tuck it inside. I'll probably have to trim it down, but I can tuck it inside of another envelope. Then I'll get this in the flap, just like you would when it's, you know, a new one. So I'll probably do that. But those are the pieces. So now let me gather everything and make the cards. Okay, for this card, I am going to be using a piece of Tahitian Tide cardstock. It's one of our awesome in colors that will be around just until May of next year. So less than a year for this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous color. It's one of my favorites. And I'm going to glue this to the front. And then on the inside, I've already done it, but I want you to see what I did. As soon as I find the stamp that oh, here it is, right in front of me. I grabbed this stamp, as you can see, and I used markers to color it in. You guys have seen me do this before, but I'll just real quickly, I'll grab the garden green. You want to use the brush end, and you're just going to color the strips, okay, that you want to be that color. Obviously, I wouldn't want to do the flowers. So you can do that, or you can stamp the whole thing in garden green, and then you can use your blending brush to take the color off the flowers and then add the color back in with another marker. So let me show you how it looked when it was done. Here it is. I used the technique where I used the blending brush to pull the color. I used the, I think this is crushed, nope, Daffodil Delight in the center of the flowers where you could see the centers. And that's just for the inside of my card. So let's start putting this one together real quick for you guys. Again, my liquid glue, which I love, in case you haven't heard that 1,000 times, and I'm sure that you have. So look at how pretty that looks on the inside. Just a fun little touch for the inside of your card. There you go. And then on the outside, nope, that goes with that one. I'm trying to remember, I put things in piles, and when you don't put them together, you kind of have to remember, what was I going to do with that? I don't know. So I think I just got my hair perm. So if you're seeing little white curls float into the camera range, that was an experience. 4 hours in the chair. Oh, but I needed some body. Here it is. See my curls? Yep, crazy Carrie. Okay, so I've got that. Now what I'm going to do is, what did I do with my sentiment for that one? I could have sworn I had it. I'm looking. Maybe I don't. So that's okay. We're going to fake it. I have these flowers. Oh, I know, because I wanted to stamp it right up here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Tahitian Tide, which I forgot to grab. So here it is. And I need to clean my stamp. Clean it. So, how many of you still use your scrub? I still use my scrub and the spray. I like the other stuff, but I just feel like the scrub really gets in there better. Okay, so normally I wouldn't stamp before I would stamp before I glued stuff down in case I really screw up, but hey, it's live. The possibility of me screwing up is highly likely, so, and I can already see I set it down off center, but that's okay. You rise above the rest, which I love that saying. It's a great saying for someone who has gotten a promotion or graduated, or, you know, you just like them. You can do that. You just like them. I'm so weird. So now I'm going to take these flowers and I am going to put them up on dimensionals. Gosh, I did start this, right? Yep, it's moving. Phew. All of a sudden I thought, did I forget to turn my video back on? That would be so not good. I use some of these ends here for a couple of spots. There. And one there. I think that's good. It will do. You can go ahead and tie a bow, which I am going to do off camera. Okay, so I tied my bow off camera, so you guys didn't have to watch me do that. And this is with the thread that comes with your kit. Then I'm just going to grab a glue dot to adhere it to the flowers. Now, when you're doing thread, the glue dot tends to be fatter than your linen thread. So I like to kind of like squish it a little bit. And I lost it. Hold on a minute. I don't know what happened to it. Is it there? No. So there's the glue dot. So I'm going to roll it a little bit. Can you guys see that? Now it's on the end of my finger. I'm going to roll it. And somewhere I have a loose glue dot. Could be anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. So there we go. Now I can stick it on the flowers and then trim these off as you see fit. I like them long, but it's silly to me to have them longer than the card. Some people really like that, but there you go. A simple little card. And that's really fun. So there's one alternative for you. Okay, so here's another piece of that envelope, and I'm using the thick basic white, but this time it's cut 4 1/4 by 11. So again, you're gonna score it, bumpy side in, and use your bone folder. Well, I didn't score that very well. I like to squish them. Now I'm going to take, this is some ribbon that's coming out in the next mini. It starts March 6th. I'm really rushing the spring here, and it's not even summer ending. September 6th. It is called Iridescent Ribbon, and it is white. Okay. So I like to grab a strong adhesive like our Seal Plus. And I hate to cover that, but I'm gonna. But look at that, could be a pretty card front, just like that. That's the front of the envelope. So I'm just putting a little bit on there so that it can grab my ribbon and hold it in place. Like so. I've showed you guys that trick a few times. I just think it helps hold the ribbon in place a little bit better than if you're using liquid glue. Liquid glue doesn't necessarily want to hold it as well as you would like it to. But now I can use my liquid glue and put this on my card front. Like so. And this envelope piece has been trimmed down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 so that I get a nice matting with the basic white. Then I took, what did I do with the dies? Hold on, let me find them. Okay, I don't know where I put my actual dies. They're here somewhere, but I'm using these Wanted to Say, and I'm using the Feel Better Soon on there. So I've already pre-cut them out like so. This is the background. This is what I like about them. And then it's got the skinny piece, and you see I have already added the double sticky on there. So now all I have to do is pull it out and then pop out, and you want to be careful because it's thin writing. So when you take it out, you're going to want to be careful. So I'm going to pause the camera because this video is getting long because I have a lot to show you. So I'll pop this out and then I'll show you how to put it together. Okay, so I have popped everything out. And now I can peel this off the back. Like so. Then it will fit, and I'm going to move this over. It will fit in here. And you want to take your time because it's a lot, and it's like I said, it's very thin. So start with one word at a time. And then you can get it in there, and make sure before you stick it down that you've popped all of the centers out of the E's and the O's so that you have them already out. It's very hard to pick them out after the fact. Don't ask me how I know, but I bet you can guess. So there we go. Now it says Feel Better Soon, and I'm going to put that up on Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to add a bow. So there's my bow. So I tied the bow with the same ribbon, and I did my little trick where I fold it back on itself somewhere. There we go. Like so. So I know I'm going to put the bow right there. And if you feel like this is too wiggly, this is going to hold it down. So use your dimensionals. So let me cut some more here so that I'm a little bit more prepared. So I definitely know I want the ribbon to stay in place. So I'm going to put some across there and up here and down here. And I want to make sure I get that T, and that T is kind of thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I am going to cut a thin piece of it like so. so that I can have a really thin piece to then put on there. Maybe. Carrie, you and your fingers just like to give me a hard time. There we go. As long as one side is off, I can do the rest. I'm going to set that at the top of that F. And I think that's probably sufficient enough dimension for it. I do want to make sure that one isn't showing. It is a little bit showing, so I'm going to see if I can carefully lift it and scooch it a little bit. Sometimes with dimensionals, if you haven't pressed them down yet, you have time to readjust. So I want to make sure it doesn't poke through any place it shouldn't be showing. There we go. But see, now I have dimensionals here and here, and they're helping hold that ribbon in place. So now you have a really cute Feel Better Soon card right there. And you can stamp on the inside too, if you would like. So there's that card. Okay, time for another one of the Carrie experiments. Remember, I cut this piece off of that envelope. Well, there's still adhesive on there. So I'm gonna see if this works. I'm going to lick this so it's moist, right? And then I am going to dip it into the box where I keep all of my gold gilded leafing. Let's see what happens. What the heck, right? Okay, so it doesn't go all the way to the edges. So I am going to add just a little bit of glue on there. Again, experiments with Carrie. What more could you ask for in your day, right? And we'll see what happens. So now I'm going to just dip it in my gold leaf and try and get it to stick to that flap. And it's thinking about it. I would not say it's a super successful experiment, but it is successful, and I think I'm okay with it being a little imperfect, which it is. I think I'm okay with that. That apparently got some glue where I didn't want it, but that's okay too. So see, it's kind of missing a little bit. So I'm going to try and see what happens. I don't want to add too much adhesive, but let me see what I can do with adding a little bit here. Is there someplace else? No, that seems to be the worst of it. And stick it in there. See if I can get so look what I did. All right, now what am I going to do with it? Hang on. Okay, so here we go. Got my piece that I have gilded. I have some designer series paper. This is currently online exclusive. It is called One Horse Open Sleigh. I'm using this piece here. I'm using Pebbled Path, and I am using one of these dies from the kit, and of course something for the inside of the card. So let's see what happens here. Grab my seat. Oh, I forgot I was going to put these on the inside of that other card. So I'll have to do that. I will do that. Let me do that real quick before I forget. I was going to put them on the inside of the card.